not bad. Heyy Sweeties, Gampa. If you don't already know by now, welcome back to our channel. We finally get to sit down together and I get to give you a step-by-step guideline on starting your dark romance journey. So welcome to the ultimate guide on dark romance. Yee! For my girlies that have been asking me, Mpo, where do I start in terms of my dark romance journey? Since you say that I can't just dive headfirst into haunting and hunting Adeline or captured by Biz, where do I actually begin, and how do I actually know that I want to read dark romance book, or if I'm going to enjoy dark romance book? If you've asked yourself those questions, or if you've asked me those questions, then this video is the right one for you. In this video, we will be discussing why I believe you're a dark romance girly, which books I would recommend for you to start your dark romance journey, and why it is important to do certain things before reading a dark romance books. So sit back and enjoy. Without further ado, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have anything to say. Remember, constructive criticism. I repeat, constructive criticism. Let's start. Firstly, to figure out if you're really gonna enjoy dark romance or not, have you ever watched the movie and you were mad at the fact that the hero got the girl? Like, there was a happy ending and the hero got the girl. Like, you were so mad because you were rooting for that villain. In your head, each and every time the villain popped up, you were like, oh, my man. Or, yeah. He just does something to me. Then I can 100% tell you are a dark romance girly. You are a dark romance girly. You might not be a hardcore dark romance girly, which is perfectly fine, but you are a dark romance girly. If you've ever actually wanted the Joker, if you've ever rooted for the Joker in any Batman movie or whatever movie the Joker is involved in, you are a dark romance girly, because the Joker has done despicable, questionable things and you still went, okay, you are a dark romance girly, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, there's a whole community of us that will welcome you with open arms. If you want to take the first step, this is how it's gonna go. So now that we've gotten to this point of you accepting that you're a dark romance girly, let's go into things that I feel like you need to know before reading a dark romance book. Number one, reading your trigger warnings is very important, especially starting your dark romance journey. And not because we want to scare you into not reading the book, but just so you know what the book is going to entail and what it involves. Like, certain times, the majority of the book, not majority, sometimes the book might have SA, which is, wait, this is not TikTok, I'm so sorry. I'm used to saying this like short form so that TikTok does not take down my videos. Okay, some of the books do have sexual assault, some of them do have domestic violence. Like, traumatic scenes are in dark romance books. I feel like that's one thing you need to understand. It's not a matter of if they have it, it's a matter of the extent in which they have it. It is definitely there, but we don't know to what extent it is there for and how long or whatever. Yeah, so trauma is in the book. Trauma will forever be in a dark romance book. That one you should know. It just depends on which trauma it is, and that is where the trigger warnings come in, to just tell you, okay, fine, in this book you will find scenes of sexual assault, domestic violence, like I said. Which other traumatic scenes is there? Gun scenes, blood play. Yes. Now, the second thing I wanted to tell you about dark romance books, I'm not saying they're not out there. I have not seen them yet, but I have never read a dark romance book that does not contain smut. I'll put the abbreviation here of what smut means. I still need to Google what smut means. I just know what smut entails. I don't know what it stands for, but let me just say explicit content, like full-on content is in dark romance books. So if you are not a fan of smut, then dark romance books are not gonna be for you, unless if you can actually like love the trauma scenes, the bonding or whatever, and then just skip the part where they just start. Then that is perfectly fine. That is your tea. You can sip it however you want to. Perfectly fine. Now, getting into the books I would recommend if you want to start your dark romance journey. The first one is alpha inmate. Now, the reason why I'm starting with this book is because some of the girlies that are reading or getting into reading started off by reading Wattpad books. You know, those werewolf or vampires type of books. This is the book for you. This is a dark fantasy romance that involves a alpha wolf with a omega wolf. Now, we're not necessarily told that they're wolves, but it's alpha, so we definitely know it's a werewolf involved, right? So in this book we get a werewolf, an alpha werewolf, that is in prison because of certain heinous, despicable things he did, and a omega who is trying to prove herself in a world that says that omegas are weak, useless, and just rot, right? So she goes into this prison to try and figure out if like the alphas and betas are treated well, if the prisoners are treated well, and this is where they meet and stuff happens, you know, like ish happens. So I would highly recommend you get into that book if you've actually loved Wattpad books. This is definitely where you need to start in terms of your dark romance journey. Now, and the second book I'm going to recommend is Hawk by Jessica Halls. This is a forced proximity ex-con type of romance. Basically, the MMC gets out of prison and stays in the FMC's house, but she does not know that this man is in her house. So she's asleep at night, and then she hears this noise, and she's like, okay, fine, what's going on? Let me get up and go check, right? As she leaves to go and check, she hears the noise coming from another room. So she goes in there, she opens the door, and she finds this man literally someone else in her motherfucking house. So she screams. She's like, what the hell are you doing in my house? So you can understand the chaos that erupts after that. It is a highly addictive book, so I would recommend you start with this one as well. Plus, if you're looking for a book where the FMC is a badass B, that is literally like, you're not gonna do that to me, I'll leave. Like, this book is it. Good. The third book I'm going to recommend is Sinners Do It by Sophie Lark. And one thing about Miss Sophie Lark is the fact that you are going to get artwork in her pictures. So there is visual representation on what is going on every now and then in the book. So I'm just going to try and explain the first book. The first book is about how a psychopath who literally sees a girl in a ditch, looks at her and decides to walk away. Literally walk away. She's not dead yet. She's literally, he can see her breathing, and he decides, not my problem, and walks away. Don't be mad though. The way the girl gets revenge on him, the way she gets revenge will have you gagging, because at one point I'm like, did she go too far? No. Did I want her to repeat it? Yes. Will you love this book? 100%. The fourth book I'm going to recommend might be a bit... I think all of the books I've recommended thus far have been level 1 or 2 type of dark romance. This book, I think I'll literally say it's level 4.5. That book is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, and it is about how 2 people get kidnapped and they go through the most traumatic of experience only to get out of it and have to deal with the aftermath of all that has happened to them. They live 2 completely separate lives, but then at the same time their lives are joined together because they're in-laws. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this one was a bit, even for me, because I think at one point I almost cried. A lot of book girlies cried. A lot of book girlies cried during some scenes when they were kidnapped, even afterwards, finding some things out. A lot of girlies cried. It had me in a chokehold. I was almost there. So yeah, I think those are the only books I'm going to recommend thus far. I think 4 books should be enough for you to realize or figure out if you are truly a dark romance girly or not. And if you're not, that is perfectly fine. Just watch out for my other videos where I will be recommending romance books, thriller books, and fantasy books if you want to start your journey into reading. Anyways, thank you for staying thus far into the video. See you next time. Mwah.